What's up guys, it's Roger and welcome back to the channel, and today I'm going to be teaching you how to use your Blink in Trials of Osiris on Endless Vale. Now specifically today I'm going to be using Blink Warlock. I think tomorrow I'm going to make another video going over a strategy with Blink Hunters, so stick around for that tomorrow if you like this video and you want to see Blink but with Hunter. But for today we are going to be focusing on the Warlock. Now how is Blink on Endless Vale? It's a pretty good map honestly, and Blink allows you to do some very spicy things, and I have a set strategy that I've always used for Endless Vale with Blink, and it is absolutely amazing strategy. I'm excited to show it to you guys. If you've been around for a little while, you've watched these videos before, and the Endless Vale ones, then you've seen this strategy, but I always deploy it because it's always works, you know? You're going to get this to work at least usually in the first round of a match, and then after that, people will honestly keep falling for it. It's a little bit of a trickery, you know, your little leprechaun on your rainbow, trying to trick people into not stealing your pot of gold, but it's a pretty good strat. I can't wait to get into it. But first, before we get into the strat, we need to cover the build. So what are we using today? Well, let's start over here with our armor, and specifically with our exotic piece of armor. Now, I have been using different things besides Astrocyte Verse. I think Astrocyte Verse is absolutely amazing, and what it does with your Blink is it just makes it 10-fold better. 100-fold better. Astrocyte Verse Blink is so amazing. The distance you get and all the other benefits like the airborne effectiveness, keeping your radar through the Blink, having your weapons ready incredibly fast coming out of that Blink are all so beneficial to have. And if you're going to seriously try hard Blink and you really want to get better with it, I would recommend you getting better while using Astrocyte Burst. And once you've gotten Astrocyte Burst Blink down, then taking it off and going back and learning your Blink Warlock without it, and you can try out some other exotics. Now, I Have Another World is one that I have not tried until today, and I'm very glad I did. I think this is something that I'll actually go back to every now and again because it's pretty dang good. So we have Cerebral Uplink here. Highlights priority targets and improves their regeneration speed of your grenade, melee, and rift abilities. Provides a small benefit to the airborne effectiveness stat of all weapons. So your Astrocyte Verse is going to give you plus 30 to your airborne effectiveness, right? That's a great benefit. I Have Another World is going to do half that. It's going to give you 15 to your airborne effectiveness stat. Not bad in the slightest. I was using Foe Tracer last week on Blink Hunter. That gives you 20 to your airborne effectiveness. Now, I personally don't think airborne effectiveness needs to be that high of a stat, but even something like an extra little 15 from I Have Another World is a nice little bonus, and we'd love to see it. Other than that, the bonus to your regeneration of your abilities is going to go like this. It's a 50% additional base, grenade, melee, and class regeneration rate. So your stuff is going to fly up in the energy. I don't think I have too many clips just like showing that, but if you can watch my energy after I use an ability, you'll see it just starts going crazy fast. You know, and it's just, we have different fragments and whatnot to help us get our abilities back, different mods to help us get our abilities back, but especially with this, you're going to have a grenade at the beginning of every round, which is very good because grenades are a huge part of this build, and we will get into that very soon. But overall, I Have Another World, definitely recommend running this. It's just a very solid exotic, and while you don't get the Blink benefits that you would with Astrocyte, this just is an all-around help to your kit. Looking at our gloves here, I just have on a couple of things, a little mods, you know, I only have this on because I couldn't put anything else on to actually help. I'm not using a pulse rifle. Pretend I didn't have that on. I have quick charge here, so this is going to let us become charged with light by rapidly defeating multiple combatants with fusion rifles or shotguns. Today we are using shotguns, but the best part about this is Ever Ready, which is the secondary perk that is applied with this mod. Greatly increases the ready speed of fusion rifles, shotguns, submachine guns, and swords. So this is going to apply to our shotgun and our sword, because we do have a sword on. I don't really use it much, but in case you are, it's good to have this on. That's going to give us plus 20, I believe it is, to the handling of whatever weapon in this class that is listed here that you might have, which is very good when we're using a shotgun like we are today that does not have quick draw on it, and we'll get into that shotgun a little later. But quick charge, a very good mod. Make sure you have it and are using it when you're using a fusion rifle or any kind of shotgun or SMG that doesn't have any kind of quick draw perks. On the ropes here, we just have an unflinching, one for our hand cannon and one for our shotgun. Down here we have double invigoration and some powerful friends, just a lot of stuff to give us some extra stat boost. The invigoration is a arc mod, and that is what is going to enable us to use the Ever Ready perk on our quick charge. And then on the bond, we have 2 utility kickstart mods. So when you fully expend your class ability, you get a bunch of class ability back really quickly. So this combined with your I Have Another World, your class ability is just flying up. You will always have a rift. You almost always have a rift anyways on Warlock, especially if you're running 100 recov, which you always should be, and I am today. But especially with these 2 mods and I Have Another World and some other things we have in our kit, your rift is always up, which means you always have clearance. Shout out to the old gods, which we'll talk about a little bit more later, but I would definitely recommend switching your class item, which is the bond in this case, to stasis as its affinity here, and you can put these utility kickstarts on because they're very good to have. Other than that, I was just using a bunch of stuff to make sure I could get 100 discipline. I don't usually get 100 discipline, but I have a really good discipline roll on this I have another roll. You can see 36 discipline just from our helmet. So I was able to get to 100 discipline and 100 recuff, so I was very much liking where these stats were. I would kind of like to have like one more tier. If I could have got 2 more into the mobility and have 70 mobile would have been nice, but I'm fine at 60. I like it to be a little higher, around 70 when I don't have astrocyte. In astrocyte, I usually use anywhere from 50 to 80, but it's completely fine at 60, so don't fret too much if you don't have too high of a mobility stat. Let's go over here and look at our weapons really quick. Now, our primary weapon is going to be the Sunshot. Now, this is the only 150 RPM hand cannon that is left in the game, actually. This entire subclass, or archetype, I should say, of hand cannons was switched to 140s and kind of had their stats readjusted, except for the Sunshot. So the Sunshot actually shoots a little faster than any other hand cannon in the game does, not to mention it doesn't experience as much damage fall off because it has explosive payload tied into it. So right here we have Sunblast. Targets killed with Sunshot explode in solar energy. That's nice. You kill somebody, they blow up, they can do a little solar damage to their teammates around them. And then we have Sunburn. This weapon fires explosive rounds and highlights targets that take damage from Sunshot, so a little highlight on your enemies, not too big of a deal. But like I'm saying, explosive rounds, that is explosive payload, very, very good, because when you're shooting far range, you can still shoot this even though it's a 150 hand cannon, and you can still get damage with it because of those explosive payload rounds. With the Catalyst here, you're going to see, mostly from the Catalyst, what you get is a butt ton of range instability. Look at the range instability bump on this thing. If you do not have the Catalyst, I wouldn't recommend using your Sunshot, not in trials at least. If you want to go use it in, like, I don't know, survival or something, or elimination, you know, that's fine. If you're going to use this in trials, I definitely recommend having the Catalyst and having it fully done before you take it into trials. Now after that we have a Wastelander M5 shotgun. I do not have a crafted one of these yet, but my roll is pretty dang good anyway, so I don't think I need that. I have corkscrew rifling here, so that's going to give us some extra range, stability, and handling speed. I have assault mag here. I don't usually like assault mag on lightweight frame weapons, on lightweight frame shotguns I should say, just because they already shoot so quickly. I don't think you need assault mag, but being able to shoot really, you know, even that much faster is pretty nice. So if you do have assault mag on your lightweight frame weapons, your lightweight frame shotguns, then don't fret about it too much. It's completely fine to have. I have Slide Shot here. I love Slide Shot. Sliding partially reloads this weapon's magazine and temporarily boosts range and stability. You definitely notice this, especially when you're on a lightweight frame shotgun and you have like 59 range. It's not the best, but when you can get that Slide Shot going, it makes your stability and your range really, really boosted up, and you can just snipe some people pretty good, map them pretty well, especially with Wastelander that has such a good hip fire on this thing. Of course, you do want to always aim down sights if you can, but the hip fire on this is amazing because of the tinier reticle. It really helps out with the hip fires, at least for me, and I know it does for a lot of other people as well. Finishing this off, we have Killing Wind, so final blows grant increased mobility, weapon range, and handling for a short duration. You're not going to notice this too much, but if you ever do get the chance to take out one guy and then really just rush the next one down, you will notice that Killing Wind is actually pretty effective, and it's a perk that I didn't think I would like too much when I first got this. I honestly thought that Killing Wind was what was going to make this not too much of a god roll, but honestly, it makes it pretty nice when you can go in those little 2 or 3 tears with your shotgun and just get in there. Killing Wind is very nice to have in those situations. I do have a ranged masterwork and then quick access sling just so we can pull this thing out even faster since we don't have quick draw. So this in combination with our quick charge ever ready combo will let you pull out your Wastelander very, very fast, even without quick draw. We do have a sword on, like I was saying earlier, the other half with Eager Edge on. I don't think I use this at all in any of the plays we have today. I actually, maybe one play. We'll see when we get into it. I have like 35 plays for you guys, so somewhere in there it might be buried around. Honestly, the second I finish the match, it flies out of my dome piece, so who knows if I did or not. Why don't we go ahead and get into our Void 3.0 next. So starting over here with our super, as always, I am using Nova Bomb. I would love to use Nova Warp, but it's really hard to use roaming supers nowadays because they're on too high of a cooldown timer. Even if you're slaying out and the game goes really far, like 8-9 rounds, sometimes you might not get your roaming super depending on what tier it is. And it's just very frustrating. I understand it from a balancing point, and honestly, I think I'm fine with it how it is, but it is a little annoying when you get through a match and you don't even get a single super. Now, that being said, even with my Nova Bomb, I don't often get it in a match. Now, I have 83 intellect, and I usually can slay out pretty well, but even if I do that, I'm like really close to getting my super by the end of the match, and sometimes I just don't get it. Even if it goes like 6 rounds, usually if it gets to 6 or 7 rounds beyond that, I will get the Nova Bomb, but if it's anywhere in like a 5-round game, I just don't get it, and it can be a little annoying because it's like, I'm purposely using this because it's a lower cooldown, you know, it's not a roaming super. I feel like I should be able to get at least one of them per game, and a lot of times you just don't. That can be a little annoying, but honestly, I'm fine with it how it is. You know, they reworked supers a long time ago, and I think overall they did pretty good with those super rework changes and the tiers and whatnot, but there are a few things that I wish they would kind of tweak just a little bit, maybe so we could always have at least one super per game would be a little more fair in my opinion. But where it is now, I'm not too mad about. With our abilities, we are using a Healing Rift, Blink of course, Pocket Singularity, and then Scatter Nades. I love Scatter Nades. You can one-shot with these nades, and these Scatter Nades are a very, very big part of the strategy I'm going to implement today in Endless Vale Trials. You'll see that when we get into the gameplay, but you can use other things. If you would like to, you can use Axions. You can use Magnetics if you really wanted to. I would definitely not recommend them as much as the others, but you can. You could use any of these three up here, or you could use Vortex. I think would be the second best option behind a Scatter, but I think a Scatter Nade is the best option for this strategy I'm going to show you today, and we will get into that very soon, but Scatter Nades is what we are using. Over here for our aspects, I'm using what I consider to be the two most useful aspects. I think that Overcharge Nades are not terrible, but they only give you one fragment slot, and you do not get as much effectiveness out of your build, and you can't sweat as much with this as you can with these two aspects right here. First of all, we're using Feed the Void, which gives you Devour. You know, you kill somebody with a Void ability, you're going to trigger your Devour, and then you can just full heal every time you get a kill, and it's going to extend your Devour even farther. Devour is just such a good thing to have. We love to have it. It's also going to give you a little grenade energy every time you get a kill, you have your Devour active. So that's just another way I was talking about earlier. There's other ways to get your grenade energy back. Having Devour procced and then getting more kills is just simply another way to get that to happen. After that, we're going to use Child of the Old Gods, or as we call him around here, Clarence. Clarence is my little son from the Void. He is absolutely magnificent. The lockdown potential, the ability to weaken enemies from Clarence is absolutely amazing, and Child of the Old Gods is honestly one of the best neutral play abilities out of any subclass in the entire game, in my opinion. He can easily go in, track on enemies pretty well. The tracking can be kind of goofy sometimes, and I wish they would change it to where Clarence never stopped tracking until he did his first tick of damage on an enemy, and then he stayed wherever he did that first tick of damage, because right now his tracking will get caught on walls a lot. That's one complaint that I do have about Child of the Old Gods, but overall Clarence is a good boy. If he's not sniffing too much crack cocaine in the morning, then usually he's not flying off the rails. He's going in on his enemies, he's locking down areas, and making our potential to push and track those damage numbers and take our enemy out very, very high, and that's something we love to see with Child of the Old Gods. Clarence is a top tier aspect, and definitely something you want to be looking to use if you want to tear it up in Trials on your Voidlock. So let's go ahead and finish our build out here with the fragments we're using. Now I am using the same two that I almost always use, starting with Echo of Dilation. I recommend you have this Echo on 100% of the time. Echo of Dilation is amazing. So while crouched, you're going to sneak faster, that's fine, and gain Enhanced Radar Resolution. That's the part you want to see. Enhanced Radar Resolution. That enhanced radar is very, very, very useful, especially if you're going to be blink shotgunning. You really want to be able to read that fine-tuned radar and see exactly where your enemies are before you take that aggressive push. So Echo of Dilation, highly recommend it. Not to mention you get 10 mobility and 10 intellect. You can never go wrong with flat stats, and Echo of Dilation is just very, very strong. After that, we're going to go over to Echo of Persistence. Void buffs applied to you are going to last longer. So your Devour is going to go from a 10-second duration to a 15-second duration. Now, any invisibility or overshield applied to you from your teammates is also going to last longer, so you have to remember that part of the buff there as well is very, very nice. You do lose 10 recovery there, so make sure you're keeping yourself at 100 recup. After that, we have Echo of Expulsion, so any void ability final blows cause targets to explode. I highly, highly recommend running this with the strategy we're going to be using today, because this can net you an entire team wipe in combination with your scatter nades, and you'll see that a couple of times coming into handy as we go throughout the gameplay today. But highly recommend using Echo of Expulsion. It's a very, very nice fragment, and again, 10 intellect, you can't go wrong with those raw stats. And finishing this off, we have Echo of Exchange. Now, there's a lot of different echoes you could use here, but none of them are that crazy good. But melee final blows granting grenade energy, that's just one other solid way we can get grenade energy back, which we love to see. You kill somebody at the end of a round with your empowered melee, and then hey, you're actually going to have your grenade up for sure at the beginning of the next round. So anyways, we can get our grenade energy back, we love to see, because you're going to see in the gameplay today that these scatter grenades are such a huge part of this strategy. Couple of things before we hop into the gameplay today. We have Blink Enthusiast, the clan. Go to your Destiny 2 mobile app or Bungie.net. It is set to open, so it is just free to open. Go ahead, look up Blink Enthusiast, and you can join. We'd love to have you, and you better join before it hits full. And last but not least, I would very much like to hit around 4 to 5k subs before the end of the year. You know, we only got about 2 months left, so if you want to help me out there and make that happen, I would very much appreciate a sub, or at the very least just liking the video, because that stuff really, really does help out, and it tells YouTube that you are enjoying the content so they can show it to more people, and that helps me out a lot. But all that being said, I think we are ready to get in this gameplay, so why don't we go ahead and blink on into it. Okay, so our first play here, and I really included this just because this was my very first round of the entire weekend, and I like to just get my first round of the entire weekend to show you exactly what I'm going for right off the bat. You blink twice towards mid, you throw in your scatter nade straight ahead, and you start taking shots. Now you can see here it didn't work as well as I'm going to show you in the future as we keep going deeper into the video, but you understand what we're going for now. Of course, it's going to be very much more successful later on as I'm telling you, but that was my first round, you know, and I just want to make sure I knew what I was doing, went in, so that's what you're going for. Now here is going to be a little bit more successful. We throw it down, you can see how many ticks the scatter nade had. Still though, not exactly what we want, but I had to blink out of cubby really quickly. That's why we love our blink. We can actually get out of something like cubby without showing our hitbox and getting hit. Smacked this guy pretty well. He was going to put a shield down, but fortunately he could not get it off. Fortunately for me, I say. I'm going to blink over this guy's head because I saw him coming around the corner. He's weakened by Clarence, and he is a glaive player. We gotta be careful of those glaives. They can be very dangerous sometimes. I had slide shot there, so I actually loaded that last bullet into my shotgun, went for my teammate's res, and went towards this last guy, flicked onto him with a shotgun, was able to take him out pretty easily. When I can get into those close range battles, I very much like to take them because I'm quite confident in myself with those shotgun battles. Of course, I'm gonna whiff sometimes, but overall, it's very, very effective. That's what I'm talking about right there. Double kill with a nade immediately. You can see right where I throw it is oftentimes where people will sit with pulse rifles, sniper rifles, whatever it may be. Oftentimes, no matter which side you're coming from, and I'll show you a few starts from the other side as well as we go through this video, people like to sit on the right side. That's where they like to play from. So that's exactly where you're going to be aiming that scatter nade, vortex nade, whatever you may have on. There's a little pocket, and that's where people are going to sit. That's where you're going to throw it in. It's going to blow up. If the first guy dies, you know, he's going to do a little expulsion blow up after that. It's gonna be very nice. There's a sword play for you guys. You always want to see these sword plays, and I kind of got ripped off with the sword play here again. Went back, grabbed my teammate because I just wanted to make it, you know, as have the numbers advantage as much as I could. Went in with the sword here, and I was like, oh, easily slap. Nope. The game said screw you, and then my teammate threw, so I don't even need to show you the rest of that because if I have to watch it a second time, I'm going to go outside, stare into the corona of the sun, and let my eyes burn into crisps. Anyways, you see the enemies here. You can see this time I just threw down a rift. The reason for that is because I didn't have my nade back up. If you die at the end of a round, you maybe don't get your nade back up. It's unfortunate, but you know, you just got to do what you can. Oh, I teabagged that guy because he was using stasis, so he can go eat my cheeks. And if you're using stasis, I'm going to teabag you when I kill you, most likely. Anyways, go and play into the next play here. So yeah, if you don't have your nade when you come to lane, just throw down a rift if you want to, or you can play one of the side lanes, and I'll show you that as we go deeper as well. But then again, right there, that's what I'm saying. You just take your shots right as you throw that nade, and you get some amazing combo damage there. Fly back on this guy. As soon as you get those picks, you got to watch your radar. You got to see where's that third guy going to be, and use your blink to get on him. Of course, we don't have astrocytes, so we have to remember we're not going to keep our radar up as we go through a blink. So I know it can be kind of hard to track people as you go through your blink, and even I myself, you know, especially if I don't have my radar, I lose them sometimes. If you want to keep track of your enemy as you go through your blink, do your best to watch your radar right before you go into your blink, and then you just kind of need to make your best assumption of where that enemy is going to move as you are going through the duration of your blink. You're going into here, we're going to throw the nade in again, kind of too far to the right, that's what I'm saying. See where he was peeking from the left? That's exactly where you want to try to throw it, so be careful of not throwing it too far to the right like I did right there. But just to finish off the thought, if you're trying to track people through your blink but you do not have astrocyte burst, just do your best to estimate where your enemy is going to be as you go through the duration of that blink. Coming here, I smacked this second guy, and it was like so close to being such a beautiful play, a 1v3, and unfortunately that guy did slap my booty cheeks, but I wanted to show you the nice two-piece that I had there. Coming in here again, I don't have my nade back up, but look how fast my nade is flying up. A few seconds, 1, 2, and there it is, it's up again. This Eye of Another World and all the discipline makes my nades come up so quickly. Help my teammate take some nice shots there. If the enemy doesn't want to play mid, especially as the match goes on, the enemy, especially if they're good, is going to start to see your strategy. So if they don't want to play mid anymore, you don't have to either. But you can see even here, look at that. This is 4-4, and look how much damage I just did in conjunction with my teammates. We got that first easy pick. I flew in, take out this other guy. Of course, he's flying around the map with his stupid little melees and stuff. I fly over this, and I'm going to bag the heck out of this guy. I took my nutsack. I shoved it in this guy's jaws, and I made him hungry hippo munch on that shit because he was using Peregrine Greaves. I cannot tell you how much I despise Peregrine Greaves. As a very aggressive shotgun player, Peregrine Greaves make me want to rip my eyeballs out and shove them in a toaster. I cannot stand them. If you're using Peregrine Greaves or Stasis, I'm going to take my nutsack after I kill you. I'm probably going to shove it in your mouth and just, you know, make you taste the salty goodness. Now, let's get past that and get back into this gameplay. My teammate here, you can see, I wanted to show this clip to you to show you how much of a mistake my teammate out on Shrine made. He, for some reason, just sat there and didn't stop the reses. All he had to do was stop that first guy from getting that res, and this round wouldn't have been so close, but for some reason he just sat there. Look, if you see one of your teammates is down, it's a 2v1, you need to make some kind of leeway in finding out where the reses are and holding them down as your other teammate gets the res, or whatever it may be, vice versa. Just make sure you're not sitting there and doing nothing. Always be proactive, always be looking, okay, where's the next enemy on my radar? How can I get him? How can I stop the reses? You need to figure out what your next plan of action is going to be, or else you're going to start failing rounds. Again, this is a time where I actually went to the right. Now, I blink twice, and I slide in, and I'm staying crouched. I want to stay off the radar. Now, my teammate actually does put us invisible, and you see both my teammates followed me to this side of the map. This is a good time to mention, you see the void invisibility buff on the left side. We actually had a longer duration of void invisibility than even our teammates did because of that aspect, or the fragment, excuse me, that I showed you guys to put on earlier. That's another reason why we very much love that fragment. Smacked that guy pretty good. My teammate honestly did all the damage to him because I kind of whiffed my shotgun shot, but me blinking behind him very much did confuse him. So even just the confusion factor from your blink is a very, very nice thing to have. Looking at our enemies here, you can see they're all down towards Shrine, so we couldn't really do our mid-map combo here. I want to say watch my grenade energy fill up very, very quickly as this play goes on. You can see, look how fast it's just soaring up. Now I come down here as a very aggressive blink and I was in a bad spot, but I had clearance and I have my primary shot, so I use it. I smack this guy's head off, I go over to his teammate and I say, hey, Popeye the Jailer man, smack his head off. I don't even know what that was a bad impression, it was just not even a good joke. But luckily my teammates followed up and we killed the third guy there. You can see I'm coming around to the left side here. Again, I do not have my grenade. If I don't have my grenade, I do one of two things. I either go to one of my side lanes, like Shrine here, or into Cave, or I challenge mid with just a Rift. This time, Heavy was spawning. If Heavy is spawning, I implore you to do your best to get a line of sight on top of Heavy so your enemy doesn't get it for free. Especially if you know your teammates are not going to cover it, you need to get that line of sight so you don't just surrender Heavy for no reason. A beautiful nade there is going to get a nice pick. I fly in, I have my Devour proc, smack this guy, miss with my shotgun, but I was able to take him out, and look how much nade energy flew out back there. If you want to rewind and watch how much nade energy I got back from that kill, because you got to think about it. I got a little bit of Devour grenade energy back from killing that second guy, and I had the empowered melee kill, which also gave me more melee grenade energy back, excuse me. So we had so many ways to get our grenade energy back there. It's perfect. Now, unfortunately, my teammates kind of goofed the bed here. You know, I did so much killing, so much slaying out, and he just couldn't take out that last guy because he didn't follow me closely enough, but he also didn't go for the res on our teammate. He needed to pick one of those things to do, and unfortunately, he just did not pick well enough. This guy flies in on me. I said, sorry, preschool's not in session, so I had to sit him down in his booster seat until we're ready to start class. Now, this guy may look like he just fell out of the Crayola factory, but unfortunately, he was still able to slap my booty cheeks, but I was able to kill him too. I feel like he should have died earlier, but maybe it was some kind of connection-based stuff with that shield. This guy was sniffing bath salts or something. I was like, dude, just res me. You do not have to go in. Play safe, res your teammates, and then go in. Because both of this guy's teammates, their reses were on my dead body. All my teammate had to do was turn around, res me, put a shield down, and we won the round easily. But, you know, he just couldn't do that. So, you know, it happens, but don't ever count on your randoms, I guess is the lesson I'm trying to say here. Now, Mr. Crayola and the boys were hanging out in mid here. I came and got a nice flank because I didn't have my nade when the round started. Took him out, my teammate gets another nice kill, and I decided to go in with him. You see this guy's up on the top, and I do smack him pretty good. I counted that there. I hit him with 10 pellets of my shotgun. Each one doing around 18 damage. It's just crazy to me that I was able to hit 10 pellets and he still lives. I think that's a little silly, honestly. Like, 10 pellets, I mapped him pretty good and it still didn't kill. A little frustrating to me, honestly, but what can you do? Luckily, I had a beautiful follow-up from the teammate and we were able to take him out and win that round. Now, teammates set up a nice shield here. I blink into Cubby, and I was looking at my radar. They're all over my radar, so I knew I needed to be careful. Now, at this point, I'm in a 1v3. I tell you this, guys, every time, because I want to show you the 1v3s I get and explain to you how to take a 1v3. When you are in a 1v3, you are looking to do one thing, and that is to separate your enemies into 1v1s as many times as you can. You take a 1v1 once, and now it's a 1v2. You take a 1v1 a second time, and now it's a 1v1. You need to try to separate your enemies as best as you can, take fights that are advantageous for you, with your abilities, with your positioning, so you can wither them out one by one until you win that round. You can see here I'm just breaking the shield, but I saw my radar, there was someone behind me. I take a nice blink angle there, I fly over, and I immediately map him. There we go, that's one 1v1 down. Now I'm looking to take another one. I look at my radar, I see this guy's right on my feet, so I smack him really good. That's another 1v1 down. I'm looking for the last guy. He flies in, Crayola factory. Unfortunately, we traded, but hey, that's better than losing the round, right? And you can see, just by separating the enemies, taking better advantageous fights for myself, and separating them to 3 separate 1v1s, I was able to at least tie that round. Now here's something to be aware of. I could have had an easier kill there. I was able to pick that guy up, which is awesome. I also corralled the second guy into my teammate, and that helps us win the round. But if you see 2 targets in front of you, try your best not to get flustered. It happens to me too. You know, you see 2 enemies and you kind of switch back and forth with your aim. Do your best to keep your aim onto one enemy and take them out, and then you can switch on to the second one. Flying in here, I kind of whiffed a little bit, but I was able to aim down sights, map that guy's bussy off of his butt, and then go in, take out the second guy. You can see this is a time where I was able to take all of them out. I was actually charged with light because I took out the first 2 and I was able to smack the last guy with my high energy fire, but also I had Killing Wind proccing on my Wastelander there. I told you earlier when you can actually get the Killing Wind procced on your Wastelander, it's pretty dang good, and that was the time when I got to show that off. I punched that guy, but I guess I didn't get the kill. I was able to map him, the second guy here, pretty good. I just wanted to show you how much I hate Wither Horde, and luckily my teammates cleaned the round up there, but man, I despise Wither Horde. I just want to say that because I hate it. Wither Horde makes me feel like I'm standing in an oven that's at 700 degrees and my nuts are just crisping up. I don't like it. I don't want to feel like the Pillsbury Doughboy stuck inside an oven my entire life, okay? Just let me out. I don't want to do it. Coming into mid here, you can see my teammate got smacked on Shrine alone. You need to be careful with that positioning. I throw in a nice scatter nade here, smack him up real good, take some nice shots, kill him, fly in with the shotgun aggressively because I knew I could take out this last guy pretty easily. He runs around. I'm just looking at my radar, so I'll use my left, so I come back around and take him out really quickly. Be careful of flicking your eyes to your radar in situations like that. If they are very close to you, you're in a shotgun battle, you might not have time to look at your radar. But if you think you have time to look up to your radar very, very quickly, then go ahead and do it. Just be careful of that. Again, I'm watching my radar here. I'm seeing there in front of me. I'm seeing there a little bit to my right, and I saw this guy flying onto my teammate, so I went in, whipped a shotgun shot, unfortunately, and here I did a very, very good blink onto this guy. You can see he's over towards my left. Or actually, sorry, I'm thinking of a different clip. This time I just waited, got my teammates res, and let myself heal because I knew I could. If I could just wait instead of gas pedaling it and be safe by resing my teammate and letting myself heal with my 100 recup, that's the smart play, so that's exactly what I did. And that helps us win the round. You can see I didn't have my nade up and I saw they were kind of holding mid to a point that I did not want to hold back on. So I slapped my rift down on the right side. I'm using the rift just to kind of sit in it a little bit, but as soon as I knew I could go in here, I did. Now, I got blinded here, and I do lose the round, but I mostly wanted to show you, I kind of kamikazed with a scatter nade on myself, and it did kill two of them. One of them with the Echo of Expulsion actually got a kill because of the scatter nade getting the first kill, and I was telling you about the Echo of Expulsion can be very good with your scatter nade. That's one of the times that it actually helped me out, so I wanted to show that off to you guys really quickly. Now, we are coming into here, and we are looking towards mid, taking some shots. Now I smack the first guy, you know, a death wave comes out into my face. There's a Wither Horde in front of me. I'm just like, dude, I am so sick of this match at this point. I just wanted it to end. Flying in here, I should have thrown that a little more to the left. I'm really bad with Nova Bombs. I'm just going to say that straight out. I suck with Nova Bomb. You know, I just really don't like it. And I prefer to use Nova Warp because I'm a freaking mind-boggler when it comes to the Nova Warp. You've seen me use Nova Warp before if you watch the channel often. So you know I'm pretty good with Nova Warp. In fact, very good with Nova Warp. But I can't even get an Nova Warp charge, so I can't use it, and it's very frustrating, but it is what it is. Either way, we are in a 3v2 here. Unfortunately, he got that res off, so I just said, hey, I'm going to fall back to my teammates and cut this guy off. That's exactly what I do. I blink to the side of him, and I get ready to challenge him. Unfortunately, he goes into his super. I did manage to hit him with a full blast of my shotgun before he went into that super, so he was no shields. Luckily, my teammate was looking around, seeing what he wanted to do, and he had the very smart idea to come and res me. He was like, Papa Roger, please come save me, save my bus. And I was like, buddy, I got you. Check out this rift. Boom, boom. And I said, Clarence, get Papa a kill. End this. Bring it home. And Clarence said, Papa, I got you. I'm going to put his nuts straight into the void, and he ripped his scrotum into the next dimension, and we won that round and the entire match. Now, you see that scatter nade there? That is what I'm talking about when I say the pocket. Where I just threw that scatter nade was the perfect pocket. I fly over this guy, smack him. He wanted to keep running away. I hate when people just run away and backpedal when I'm shotgun rushing. I mean, I understand it. Of course, that's a smart play for him, but it just frustrates me beyond all ability there. But I just want to mention really quick that last play where I threw that scatter nade right in that pocket. You know, we're not talking poly pocket. We're talking pocket of Endless Vale. And that's where you want to throw that scatter nade, blow their bussies up, take them out real quick. That's where you want to throw it. That was kind of a pre-nade there that I shouldn't have thrown, and honestly was not very good, but I was able to slide in, smack this guy. Be careful with your blinks. I blinked there because I was taking bad damage and I didn't want to die. At the very least, do a panic blink, you know, because it's going to get you vertical height, and then you can actually land and see if you can take out your enemy, especially because it might help you have them lose the tracking onto you, I guess is the way I want to say it. I probably could have said that in a way that didn't make me sound like I have slugs in my brain, but you know, you get what I'm saying. Take some shots onto that guy, and I go in, I grab the heavy. I was grabbing it a good amount of times today just because I like to have some fun with the sword every now and again. This guy was kind of sitting back, and I used my ear edge proc a little bit because I pulled my sword out like a dum-dum, so I decided to blink over to the side of this guy. There was somebody down on my left, though. Luckily, I was able to pull out the butter knife and spread some PB and J onto this guy's bus, and I was looking for my next target. Luckily, my teammate traded. I came back, did the safe option, which is res my teammate. He was pushing forward. I decided to use my blink, act like I was a little freaking Scooby-Doo bloodhound, and sniff this guy out. Scooby-Doo's a Great Dane. Let's retract that last statement. Scratch it from the record. It never going into the courts again. All right, coming in a mid here, we're flying in. You can do a second blink like this if you want to. Again, right in the pocket is where that scatter nade goes. Look how beautiful that is. That thing literally just picked them up and RKO body slammed them into the next dimension. Followed up with some beautiful shots from your primary, and you're going to have an easy 1v3, win the round. I think I might have put my nuts in that guy's face. I forget. No, I think I just death stared him. Sometimes people don't deserve to get nutsack, you know, teabagged, but I just kind of like death stare them. I think they feel it in their souls. At least I think so that they feel it, you know. Who knows, but I like to think so. All right, coming into mid here, we're going to throw our rip down. We're going to use that 2-3 peek our enemies. We're going to kind of fall back because we saw that they were pretty close on the radar. Now, I didn't have my abilities. If I don't have my melee, at least, I don't like to stand too close to radar pings like that, and I'm never aiming down sights too long as I'm holding mid here because I saw they were close on the radar. If you see they're close on the radar, you cannot aim down sights too long or you're going to tunnel vision yourself. So make sure you're not tunnel visioning. Look at my nade energy though. I got my nade up right there because Clarence went out, sucked their cheeks for a few seconds, and got me enough nade energy to throw it in. And that nade saved this entire round. Beautiful nades and some primary shots there helps take out 2 guys. I'm looking for the last one. I fly over here. I'm going to res my teammate in a second, but he's kind of going to run at me. Luckily, I was going to get 1 headshot on him, and Patrick the Star here, my teammate, helped me smack that guy's bus up, and we were able to win that round. Throw in the nade. It's only round 2, so they're not really expecting it too much yet. A lot of good damage, but not a kill, which is okay. If you do good damage to them, at least they kind of have to spread out, sit back for a second, or your teammates take them out, you know? Again, fly in, a nice shot, very quickly, flick onto him, take him out. Looking down towards my radar here, I see this guy is going to try to run away from me, so I just fly in with the shotgun, and I was like, dude, I know you're a little glaive boy, but please, get the mommy milkers out of your mouth. You gotta stop sucking on those, and you gotta get out of my face, my dude. Don't have my nade quite yet. It was very close, so I just slapped the rift down and get ready. I was gonna slide into a peak. I always slide into a peak if I can to make sure my hitbox has changed as much as possible before I go into those peaks. Throw out the scatter nade there. It does some pretty good damage, honestly, but I saw this guy was flying up towards the right. A very nice trip mine on his part, I will say, and then I was just trying to hold back. My teammate had a nice storm nade there, and I fell down. I did not mean to fall down. This was the nice blink I was trying to tell you about earlier, though. You don't always have to blink past your enemies or whatnot. Sometimes you can blink yourself off of a surface. I blinked myself off this wall, bounce off of it, and land on top of his head. He heard the blink. I don't think he really recognized where I was blinking to, but especially blinking off the surface like that and kind of shooting myself off the wall like a freaking pool ball, you know, helped me land on him and take him out pretty easily. These are our last 2 plays here, so I will say thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you enjoyed, feel free to leave me a like I was saying earlier, or subscribe. Both of those things really, really help. And I am going to have a video out, I think, tomorrow of this same exact style, but on Blink Hunter, so we'll see what kind of build I do there. I have a build in mind that one of my subscribers was telling me about, and I might do that, so we'll see. But seriously, thank you guys so much for watching. I love making these videos every week, and Trials is honestly the one thing in Destiny right now that is keeping me playing the game, because it's just the highest level of competition, which I know is silly just because there is so much silliness in the game, but it is truly where I have the most fun, even solo queuing as I do. So thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. And that is it for me today. So, as always, have a great day, Guardians.